Hey there, it is Rachel, and you may have noticed if you have a child who feels things strongly that their reactions may be different than other kids. They may get really upset when things aren't fair, when things don't go their way. Maybe you have a child who's a little bit more sensitive to criticism, and when you tell them that they made a mistake or they might want to do something differently, they get really upset. They may even shut down. And a lot of parents will ask me, well, how should I respond to their reactions? This even comes when kids are really little and they fall down and they get upset. We know that we don't want to immediately say, oh my gosh, are you okay? Because that makes them more upset. But ultimately, this is going to apply to older kids as well, who I help. Older kids are going to have difficulties with their friends, with teachers, with lots of different things, and they're going to have reactions. So how do we react to their big reactions? And I want to tell you that there are a couple of things to keep in mind. You don't want to overreact to their reactions. That's the parent who says, oh my gosh, are you okay? Especially if your reaction is more anxious or angry, that's going to make your child feel worse when they're already feeling bad. But you also don't want to minimize a child's feelings. If they're really upset about something, you don't want to say, oh, you don't need to be upset. Everything is fine. What it does when we minimize their feelings is it makes them feel like we don't get it. We don't understand how bad things really are. And it also makes them feel like they are alone with their feelings. And sometimes it confuses them because they are upset and we're telling them you shouldn't be upset. So then they start to doubt themselves. So again, we don't want to over-identify with their reaction, but we also don't want to minimize it. What we want to do instead is observe what our children are going through. So if we go back to that example of a child falling on the floor, we don't want to say, oh my gosh, are you okay? We also don't want to say, you're fine, don't worry about it, because if they are really upset by it, telling them they're fine is really good. It's just going to confuse them. What we want to do instead is say something like, oops, it looks like you fell down. Maybe you got hurt. Let me know if you need a hug from me. So you're just observing what they're going through. So if we fast forward this to problems that older kids are going to have, it may be something like their friends are really mean to them and they're upset. So if they tell you that they're upset because their friends were mean to them, you don't want to say, oh my gosh, your friends were mean to you? Let's go figure this out. But you also don't want to say something like, you know what, friends do that. You're going to be fine tomorrow, because again, that minimizes it. What you want to do instead is say, you know what, it is hard when friends are mean to you, isn't it? And then you can say to them, do you want to talk about what you can do about this? So ultimately, what you're doing is simply observing what they're going through and taking it seriously. What that does is it shows them that you get it. It shows them that they're not crazy. And it also shows them that you can handle their feelings, which ultimately teaches them that they can handle their feelings. So again, what you want to think about is not over-identifying with what they're going through, not minimizing what they're going through, simply observing what they are going through, and then letting them know that you're there to problem solve with them if that's what they want. If you want to hear a little bit more about kids and their reactions, I encourage you to listen to my latest podcast episode. You can find that at rachel-bailey.com/235. I'll see you again soon.